So far we have seen three scheduling algorithms, right? We have seen FCFS, SJF and SRTF. Now let's compare all three of them and understand the advantages and disadvantages of each of them. Okay? Fine. Before seeing that, let's first understand what is meant by starvation problem. Okay? See, starvation problem is actually a disadvantage. Okay? In case if an algorithm has a starvation problem, then that we say that algorithm has a disadvantage. Whereas in case if we say that an algorithm is free from starvation, then we can say that it has as an advantage of that algorithm. Okay? Now let's understand what is meant by starvation. An algorithm suffers from starvation problem if and only if there is a chance for a process in the ready state to wait indefinitely to get the CPU. See, it is wait indefinitely, okay? It is not wait infinitely. Generally, people think that it is wait infinitely, but it is actually waiting indefinitely, okay? Now, let us understand what is meant by waiting indefinitely. Let us assume we have a CPU, we have a RAM, and we have a hard disk. Okay, let us assume we are using SJF scheduling algorithm, which means shortest job for scheduling algorithm, and let us assume that as of now we have two processes P1 and P2 inside the RAM. Okay, and let us assume P1's execution time is 2 nanoseconds, whereas P2's execution time is say 20 nanoseconds. Okay, now since P1's priority is higher than that of P2, assuming that it is SJF scheduling algorithm, P1 will be scheduled by our scheduling algorithm to CPU, right? Now, my question is there a chance for process P2 to wait indefinitely? Or is there a chance for process P2 to starve? Before seeing that, we need to first understand what is meant by waiting indefinitely. Okay, see, let us assume I am a person who is waiting indefinitely for an event to happen. Okay, now what does it mean? That event can happen today, or it can happen tomorrow, or it can happen after 100 years, or it can happen after 200 years, which means the event's occurrence is keep on postponing, and I am keep on expecting that it will happen today, it will happen tomorrow, like that. Okay, the event's occurrence is keep on postponing further and further and further. That's what we mean by waiting indefinitely. Okay, I'm waiting indefinitely. See, what is meant by saying that I'm waiting infinitely? Waiting infinitely means I will be waiting forever. Okay, which means that event will never happen. But I'm not saying this here. Okay, I'm not saying that the event will not happen. The event can happen, but there is no upper bound on the time within which this event should have definitely happened. Okay, there is no bound on that. Such things we say that as waiting indefinitely. Okay, which means waiting indefinitely means there is no upper bound on the time for which I might have to wait. Okay, my waiting time might keep on increasing. That is what we mean by indefinite, right? Something you are not very sure about. That's what we mean by indefinite. Definite means something you are very sure about, whereas indefinite means something you are not very sure about, right? Fine. Now let's see this. Now my question is, see, as of now we have two processors inside the RAM, P1 and P2. P1's execution time is 2 nanoseconds and P2's execution time is 20 nanoseconds. My question is there a chance for process P2 to starve? Or is there a chance for process P2 to wait indefinitely? Both are same, right? Both the questions are same. Now, my question is, in accordance to SJF scheduling algorithm, the answer is definitely yes. How? See, as of now, process P1 has the highest priority. So, process P1 has been scheduled and it is in running state. Now, let us assume before the completion of process, in case if process P1 completes, P2 will be immediately scheduled, right? Because we don't have any other processes. But let us assume before P1 completes, there comes a new process, say process P3, whose priority is higher than that of P2, which means the execution time of P3 is lesser than that of P2. Then what will happen? After P1, P3 will be scheduled, making P2 to wait. Okay. Now again, before they let now as of now P3 has been scheduled. Now before P1 will be removed, that is fine. Now before P3 completes, some more process, say P4, can come into the RAM whose execution time is less than 20 nanoseconds. In that case, the new process's priority will be greater than that of P2. In that case, the new process will be scheduled, making P2 to wait. And this can keep on happening, right? See, the number of processes which will be created in our computer is always infinite. It is not indefinite here. It is infinite. Okay, infinite means then see, at any point in time in your computer, processes will be keep on creating, right? The processes will be actually be created. Why? See, anything you do in your computer, let us assume you are typing a word in a keyboard, or you are pressing something inside using the mouse. For everything, our CPU will execute a program for that, definitely. Okay, so somehow some processes will be automatically created inside the hard disk for always, and that those processes will be keep on moving into the RAM at some point in time. Okay, our assumption is that before the completion of, let us assume before the completion of process P1, some high priority process comparing to P2 will come into the RAM, and so that process will be scheduled, making P2 to wait. Okay, so P2 can wait indefinitely or P2 can starve. So from this we can say that our SJF scheduling algorithm suffers from the problem of starvation. Okay, now let's see whether SRTF, which means SRTF scheduling algorithm, will it suffer from starvation or not. Just to answer this question, let's first analyze why our SJF scheduling algorithm led to starvation problem. Okay, why starvation happened in SJF scheduling algorithm. The reason is very simple. Okay, the fact is any priority based scheduling algorithm will definitely suffer from starvation problem. Okay, which means any priority based scheduling algorithm always has a chance that one of its process can starve or one of its process can wait indefinitely. Okay, why is it true? Okay, so you please make a note of this point. Any priority based scheduling algorithm will definitely suffer from the problem of starvation. Okay, this is a very important point. See, coming to starvation problem, we will be keep on visiting this concept throughout the course. Okay, it is not just here. You will even see this concept in something called there is a very important concept in operating system named as process synchronization, which will be right at the last of this course. Okay, during that course also we will be visiting this concept named as starvation. So you make sure understand it very clearly. Okay, actually it is very simple. Now, why is it true that any priority based scheduling algorithm will definitely suffer from the problem of starvation? I'll tell you an instance. Okay, see, it is not, I'm not saying that a process will definitely wait indefinitely. Definitely, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there is a chance for a process to wait indefinitely. Okay, even if there is a chance for a process to wait indefinitely, we will say that this algorithm will suffer from the problem of starvation. Okay, fine. Now, how can I say that any priority based scheduling algorithm will suffer from the problem of starvation? See, let us assume there is a, now as of now what has happened here, process P2 has the least priority, right? Which means I am assuming that over a point of time some process will be keep on moving into the RAM, and those new processes execution time, which means the processes which just now has arrived from hard disk to RAM, will have an execution time less than 20 nanoseconds, which is as good as saying that some processes will be arriving to the RAM and the priority of those processes will be higher than that of P2. Okay, So what is actually happening is our low priority process is actually starving, which means it is waiting indefinitely because some higher priority processes is always created from the hard disk and that is moving into the RAM over a point in time. Okay, so that is the reason there is always a possibility of a low priority process to starve. That is the reason we say that any priority based scheduling algorithm will definitely suffer from the problem of starvation. Okay, so now my question is, does SRTF suffer from the problem of starvation? It's quite straightforward, right? SRTF is also a priority based scheduling algorithm. Why? Because we give high priority to processes with the shortest burst time, right? See, SJF and SRTF are almost same. Only thing is that here preemption is allowed, here preemption is not allowed. That's it, right? So definitely SRTF also suffers from the problem of starvation. Okay. Now my question is whether FCFS suffers from the problem of starvation or not. FCFS will not suffer from the problem of starvation. Why? First point is it is not a priority based scheduling algorithm. That is fine. That is not the actual reason. Actually, the reason is quite simple. Okay, any process which comes into the RAM first will be scheduled before the process which comes next to that process. See, let us assume there are three processes which are coming into the RAM. Okay, there will be some definitely there will be some order, right? For example, it can be in the order of P1, P3, P2, or in the order of P2, P1, P3, or whatever it is, right? Even the scheduling will be in the same order, right? Based on their arrival time, which means P2 will be scheduled first, only after that P1, only after that P3. Now you cannot say that there is a chance for a process P2 to start. Why? Because without executing process P2, you cannot execute process P1, right? If you are not executing any of those, then why are you going to keep the CPU idle, right? It's quite straightforward. See, one simple point to understand starvation problem is any algorithm which actually follows the concept of first in first out, which means the first process which came into the RAM will go out of the RAM first. Okay, such things will be starvation free, which means such algorithms will not have starvation problem. Okay, see, why is that so? Because see, I think I explained it several times, but still I wanted to make sure you understand this. Actually, in case if a process arrives to the RAM, okay, now only after the completion of that process we will be proceeding with the next process which arrives next to this process. Okay, that is what we mean by starvation problem. Okay, please make sure you understand it. I think I delivered the content actually. Okay, fine. So we can say that FCFS will not suffer from the problem of starvation. So considering the factor of starvation problem, our FCFS has an advantage that it doesn't have the starvation problem, whereas SRTF and SJF has the disadvantage that they suffer from the problem of starvation. Okay, fine.